Hi KMS, Mrs. Hines here to show you how to make your Scratch interactive game a real game by adding a timer and a score variable. So the last time we saw each other, we coded an interactive game where you had a character move with the arrow keys, a sprite that falls randomly, and they interact with each other. So when they are touching one another, this code allows them to change how they look. The next step that we're going to do is go under variables. So by now you've logged into scratch.mit.edu, you've logged into your username, went to My Stuff, and opened up your interactive game. On the right, or on the left-hand side rather, you're going to go under variables. I am clicked on Frank, so I'm going to make a variable. I'm going to call this timer. This is going to happen for all of the sprites. And I'm going to click OK. This timer now is able to be picked as a variable. I'm going to write a set of code that sets my timer and changes my timer. You can see there's a set and a change blocks. My variable is automatically shown if this box is checked. I want my timer to be displayed in my game, so that's fine. When I go under events, I'm able to click when the green flag is start, and I'm going to set my timer to 60. This will start at 60 seconds. I want my timer to count down to 0. So under control, I'm going to be able to add a forever loop. If I just put this inside the change variable in my forever loop, I want to change my timer by 1. What would this do? Let's take a look. It counts up very, very quickly. That's not what I want to have happen. It's okay if your code does not work the first time. That's kind of the whole point. So we're going to problem solve this out. I want it to count down. So I'm going to change 1 to a -1. And I'm going to wait 1 second. If you look at this time, it's going to set it to 60, subtract 1, and wait a second, and then continue in this loop forever. So now it starts and it's counting down. Don't worry about what happens when it gets to 0 because we didn't code anything to have stop happen yet. So this is great. I'm going to scroll up and say File, Save Now because I like what I did. The next variable we're going to add, so we're going to click on Variables, and we're going to make another variable. A variable is just a number that can change. When you're in math class, you may hear about X or Y or Z or a number of different variables. It's just a number that can change. So another number that's going to change in our code is your score. When we first start off and when we are working, you'll either be changing or setting your variables. Zoom in so you can see. So how is this going to work for your score? When you click the green flag, I would say your score should be 0. Correct? So I'm going to set my score to 0. But when my character Frank is touching, so if this happens, if he's touching the cheesy poofs, so I'm going to go under sensing, I'm going to change his touching mouse pointer to touching the cheesy poofs. I want my score variable to increase by 1. I'm going to change this score right here. You may think that this is going to get you 1 point for every time. Let's check and make sure that it works. Start over again. What just happened? I got 134 points for eating a bowl of Cheesy Poofs. I wish that was my real life. So that's not exactly what I wanted to have happen. I only want to get 1 point for one bowl of Cheesy Poofs. So you may have to mess around with this a little bit. What you want to do is under control, you're going to add a wait 1 second. This is giving Frank points every single time a pixel of his touches a pixel of the Cheesy Poofs. So I want to wait a few seconds in between scoring. So now when I run my code, it takes about 5 seconds because I was able to get 5 points then. So I want to wait 5 seconds. This number and this setup might be different depending on how fast your Cheesy Poofs are falling, how big your character is. There's a lot of different variables in how your code will work. But this basic setup should work for all of your sprites to be able to have a score. Please try to set up a timer and a score by adding this code and your timer code to your existing interactive game. If you need additional help or if you would like to see these blocks of codes again, please log into Google Classroom, and these are under your Text 6 daily thing that's on your classwork page under classroom materials. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please email me. Otherwise, happy coding, save often, and I can't wait to see what you're up to.